wanted to give you an update, our weekly update on what we're seeing happening in the market. So, interestingly, things were very quiet at the end of the year. We had a slow start to the year. Frankly, in multifamily or commercial, I see that happen a lot most years, but I felt like this year was a little bit quieter. That said, I do see that some things are picking up. We're getting more calls, also indicative of the last cycle that we were in. I'm seeing a lot more kind of funky deals, a lot more construction, like all the things that are more tough right now, obviously. So those are some of the deals that we're seeing. Of course, we're also having a lot of people that want to pull cash out of their buildings to be prepared when the buying opportunities come. So we're seeing a lot of that. I have seen rates come down a bit as well. That said, I don't think we're going to have anything miraculous, but the 10 years come down some, rates have come down some. And that said, though, kind of the odd thing is that a lot of lenders are still scaling back or not lending. That is still because, I believe I mentioned this last week, a lot of banks are having a liquidity crisis. So that means that their deposits are down significantly and their loan to savings ratio is off. They have more loans than they have deposits. So that is something that banks don't like. Not only that, but there hasn't been a lot moving in the market. So banks do like that safety. Because things haven't been moving in the market, they can't really identify what cap rates are today. So we're kind of in this kind of holding transitionary pattern. Like I said, I'm already starting to see things moving slowly but surely. I do imagine this process is going to take a little bit longer than we all want. But nevertheless, it will turn around at some point. But there's definitely a lot of shifting around, a lot of bankers that are looking for work. Maybe they got laid off because, that particular bank isn't doing lending right now, or they scaled back in multiple sides of their business. So I see a lot of bankers kind of checking things out, seeing who's doing what, seeing if there's any opportunities for them to switch banks and that kind of thing. So there's definitely a lot of influx in the industry. Banks are definitely more focused on more experienced people and things like that. That said, if you are new in the market, I would not let that discourage you. If you can make it through this market, you can make it through any market. And there is certainly options available. It's just they're less available than they were. So also that said, there are usually a handful of banks that I tend to see get more aggressive in this market because they feel like, hey, we've come off of our high. We're small, we're nimble, we're looking for deals, we want to lend, and we're okay with lending even if there's a story there. Like, let's say everything doesn't look fabulous on paper, but the story's great. Let's say that, a property, for example, I'm doing a loan right now on a property that does not debt service. The property does not hit the debt service. It doesn't make any sense in the traditional way that lenders look at properties for financing. But the borrower is really strong. He's got a lot of liquidity. He's got good income outside of the property. So we are still getting the loan done on a property that does not debt service, but the property's in a great location and the borrower is super strong. So things like that, we're able to kind of work with lenders and, create the story and get the deal done. So that's what I'm sort of seeing right now in the market in terms of inventory. I don't see a ton of inventory out there. And I don't think I'm seeing too many people super excited to get out there and buy. That said, I've said some of this kind of stuff on my Instagram too, videos and things like that is, at some point the market is going to turn around and everybody's going to come flooding back into the market. There's going to be a ton of liquidity. There is a ton of liquidity sitting on the sidelines waiting for those opportunities. So if you're trying to get into this business and you're fairly new, now is not a bad time to get started. We have come off the highs in the market, so we have seen some pricing go down, some values go down on real estate. A lot of people are still sitting on the sidelines waiting. So this could be a good time for you to get in the market without having to compete against, 10, 15, 20 other offers and buyers that are coming in super aggressive, all cash, no contingencies, all those things. Right now, you're actually getting seller concessions. You're getting, this is a buyer's market. So the financing may be a little trickier. The rate may be a little higher. that could be temporary. So it's a great time to start if you're wanting to get in the business and you have cash to invest. Because the one thing that we all know is that if your money's sitting in the bank, it is not doing anything for you. In fact, it's losing value. That said, you want to obviously have reserves to live in case things get a little bit rough. But if you've got what I would say 12 months reserves, and you've got a solid income and you feel confident about it, then I would definitely start investing your cash. We are the same way. I don't like to keep a lot of cash. I like to always have it reinvested. Maybe at some point in my life that'll change. I think once you get so many assets and so much cash flow, maybe you change that stance. But when you're newer in your journey, or you have, even if you're down the road in your journey, you want to be as aggressive as you can without taking on too much risk, and invest the capital that you have so that it can make money and work for you. So anyways, that is what I'm seeing in the market today. Those are the opportunities that I see. And as always, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. Love to look at your deals, give you opinions on, things that you're looking at doing, get just a second set of eyeballs, all that good stuff. Thanks so much, and I will see you next week.